Hello, hello, hello. Today is the 8th of August, 2022, and it's time for our bi-weekly interview with Norm Winski. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me on, Jeff. I was last on your show on Monday, July 25, to alert the folks what was coming up that week. We will quickly review what happened there. The AC, if you haven't watched me before, means after the close overnight. So we looked, if we have a good setup, we look to do something the next morning's opening. So we had, if you want to know any of these technical terms, give me a call. I'll give you a free class. I'll explain all these technical terms. We had what's called the moon's north node lined up with the planet Uranus that night. And so we're looking for cattle, cotton, copper, and silver to, if possible, have a turn there. And then we had a three-way cluster between the late afternoon of the 28th and after the close of the 28th. And those three are that we had heliocentrically from the point of view of the sun. Mars changed signs, went into Aries. We're looking at stocks. Then we had a new moon. We round up the usual suspects anytime we have a new moon. Financials, grains, precious metals, and we with an emphasis on corn and gold. And then we also had Jupiter turning retrograde, which is one of my top points. So here we go. Here's the corn at the moon there, and you can see just ahead of the top. That's where that's where we were with the moon. And if you sold there, you would have been pretty happy. I think you would have had to take a little heat, and then it dropped about I think about 30, 40 cents. 40 cents would be $2,000 in about 3 days. So that's not too bad. Beans basically did the same thing, just the numbers were quite a bit bigger because it's a bigger ticket item. And wheat followed the same pattern too with smaller numbers. Okay, so then we had cattle was confusing. The problem with this is based on the moon's north node cycle, and that's a little tends to be a little fuzzy. It's not a planet. Call me and I'll explain it. So we have to allow a little bit extra leeway. And anyway, so just took that, marked that as a pass because you were 2 days past the high there and you really weren't at a low. And so I marked that as a pass. Here's what a miss looks like. Up, up, and it keeps going up. That's your cotton. That was a miss. Here's another miss with copper. Just kept going. And there you go. Here's silver. Did pretty well. Like I said, this point over here is that node cycle. And so we allow a little extra room there. We had basically a double bottom here, the 25th, 26th. And so you would have bought there on the opening of the 27th, and you would have done very well, up about $1.50 on the silver. If you do the big contract, 5,000 ounces, that's about $7,500. If you do the mini, 1,000 ounces, that's about $1,500 in about 2 days. Gold just kept going, so that's a miss. Here's your S&P. Came down into that node point there. That made a really nice low there. And then you went up into the moon and our three-way cluster there and made a little short-term top there. You had a chance to make a lot of money on the first one and a little bit of money on the second window. And then bonds just kept going for a miss. And then the dollar kept going down for also a miss. And here's a couple of two, three currencies. The Aussie dollar topped, made a little 1 day big sharp top there on the moon. British pound did the same, and so did the Canadian dollar. Here's the euro going sideways, so we took a pass on that. Here's the numbers. You got 12 winners out of 17, 5 misses for 70.59% winners. Here's what's coming up later this in a few days later this week. The night of the 10th, we'll have Pluto lining up with the U.S. chart. So that's the U.S. chart is based on where the planets were on July the 4th, 1776, when the country was founded. U.S. stock, anytime we have that, we look at U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then the night of the 11th, we have a two-way, fiery, powerful combo with a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. That's financial, grains, precious metals, and because it's in Aquarius, that's copper. And then we have Mercury. Anytime we have a planet at zero latitude, that's also one of my top points, and that's in combination with a full moon, so that like supercharged it. So I have a high confidence for a change in trend. If we have now these markets have to be at an extreme for it to work. It's Newton's law for every action. Opposite equal reaction. If you're going sideways, we do nothing. But anyway, if you do get to the extreme, look for a big reversal in corn, soybeans, and wheat. And then over the weekend of the 12th, we have the North Node again lining up with Uranus for cattle, cotton, copper, silver. If you're not familiar with me, I've been doing this a while. Back in 1975, right out of college, I bought a membership on the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. I was down there on the board at CBOE for 12 years, including a little stint on the Chicago Board of Trade. So I got a little bit, been doing this all these years. I got a little bit of experience. Looking forward to helping you. I'd be happy to explain all this, send you the notes, whatever you like. It's all free with a money back guarantee. Call Norm in usually sunny, but today's stormy Naples, Florida, 239-594-3939. Here's my email, nwinsky at ambarqmail.com, or you can call me at nwinsky_1. And by the way, let me remind the folks, this stuff looks complicated, but after I explain it, everybody says it's not over a grade school level. So if you made it through grade school, you're good to go with me. All right, I can teach you this in a very short amount of time. You can be racking up these high percentage turning points like I do in a very short amount of time. Looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff. Please call me right away.
Norm, that's terrific as always. Looks like in the middle of this week we have some big turns coming up, and I'm going to look forward to seeing if they work as well as your other calls have. Norm, thanks a lot, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Jeff.